Okay, shalom. We're going to be reading from the book of Exodus, Shemot, the first portion, and we've got a guest with us, came all the way from America.
Hello.
So hopefully we'll get some really wonderful insights into this week's Torah portion.
Amen. Now these are the names of the children of Yisrael which came into Mitzrayim, Egypt. Every man and his household came with Yaakov. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Yehuda, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Yaakov were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already.
Can I just say that word? This is an example. We talked about it. It says Yotze Yerech. That issued from the loins of Yaakov, and that word Yerech is hip. In the Hebrew, it's hip. So it came out of the hip of Yaakov, and Yaakov made Yosef swear by putting his hand under his hip that he take his body and bury him back in the land of Israel in the cave of Machpelah. Yosef swore to his father and he did this. But it's a euphemism for the circumcision.
And Joseph died, and all his brethren and all that generation. And the children of Yisrael were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceedingly mighty. Sorry, awfully place now.
In the land, and filled was the land with them.
Yeah.
Verse 8.
Now there rose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph, and he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom, Ramesses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Yisrael.
Yeah, can I just say that word sarai is officers. So like this is angelic principalities as well. It's not just set over them like male officers. The word is sarai, it means princes, and this has a connotation of even divine principalities were over the children of Israel. Very powerful demonic forces or demonic angelic forces were set over the children of Israel also in order to afflict them, to humiliate them. When we've gone through serious humiliation, it can literally be divine powers that have been put over us, cast over us, like what Pharaoh must have done. Pharaoh put over them officers, sarai. Okay, so this word sarai can mean like princes, like the prince of the world, Sar HaOlam, and all his ministers, which are the princes of the 70 nations. You can understand when you're being humiliated in your life, sometimes it's a divine principality that's over you. You got to get out of their dominion. We need redeeming from that dominion, because they're not in for our welfare and shalom. They're in for death, destruction, disease, and they want you down in the dirt, afflicted. They're frightened of us. So it says, and appointed, set over them, officers in charge of the work tax in order to afflict them, that's humiliate them, besivlotam, with burdens. And they built cities for the treasure of Pharaoh, Pithom and Ramesses. So all their work was going They were set under divine principalities that was humiliating them, and Pharaoh was growing rich from them. Do you understand? We can't come under this dominion. We need under the name through the Messiah, the Redeemer. We need to be in the realm of the Redeemer, not in the realm of the afflictor, the humiliator, the degregator. And this word Sarai is the exact same letters as, you know, Sarah before she had her name changed. She was called Sarai. She was called princess. She was infertile in that situation. She had to have the hair that represented the womb in some way, and fertility. So did Abraham. They were both infertile. They couldn't have babies. Abraham and Sarai could not have a baby, but Abraham and Sarah could. They got the hair of the divine name YHWH. So then they could come together. Sometimes you need to come right out of that dominion in order to be fruitful. There's a connection. Can you see the connection?
Yes.
This is Sarah's name. Sarai. She was called Sarai. It means princess. And then she became Sarah. The yod was taken away and a hair given instead. So Sarah. And the basara is connected to that. You know, the good news. We've got to get into the realm of the glad tidings. We've got to get into the realm of the gospel, the good news. This is Basaroth, Basara, Tova, good news. And it's in Sarah. The word Basara, which is the word for gospels, Basara, good news, Basaroth, Tovath, is in Hebrew, it could be read as be in Sarah. Be in Sarah. Don't be in Sarai under the dominion of these powers and princes that are set over us to humiliate us. Get into the realm of Sarah, into the realm of the one who has got a portion of the holy name within. And also the good news that has been revealed to us through Yeshua. He's switching dominion from exile to redemption. You know?
It's the seed of the woman that will bruise Satan's head.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We've all been in that realm of being under divine principalities that have humiliated us, taken everything that we've had. We've got to get out of that realm. We've got to stay in the realm of his name.
13. The Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigour, and they made their lives bitter and hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigour. And
it says crushing harshness.
And the king of Mitzrayim, Egypt, spake unto the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Ciphered, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew woman, and see them upon the stools, if it a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it's a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared Yahuwah, or Elohim, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men, children, alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives, and said unto them, why have ye done this thing, and have saved the men, children, alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. Therefore Elohim dwelt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because of the midwives feared Elohim, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all the people, saying, every son that is born, he shall cast him into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive.
Yeah. Can I just say something? There's a repetition there of the word alive. Did you hear? There was lively. There was alive. You know, they're not like... But it also uses this word, which is quite interesting. This, by the way, is related to the curse with which Yeshua was cursed, the boiling excrement. Okay, I did a teaching on this once. It says, God was good, YHWH Elohim, to the midwives, And the people multiplied and became mighty exceedingly. That word is me'od, okay? If you take the letters, first of all, the letters me'od are exactly the same letters as Adam, rearranged. Mem, Aleph, Dalet is me'od. It means exceedingly or very. And then Adam is Aleph, Dalet, Mem, okay? However, there's a special cipher written in every Mezuzah scroll which pushes the letters of YHWH Elohim YHWH, it's taken from the Shema Yisrael, YHWH Elohim YHWH Ehad. Okay, so the bit where it's YHWH Elohim YHWH is ciphered in the Mezuzah scroll. So the letters are not the actual letters. This funny cipher where they move one letter ahead. So rather than having a yod, you've got a chaf, and rather than having a he, you've got a vav. For the name YHWH, you've got yod is chaf, chaf, vav, zayin, vav, and then Elohim ciphered the same. So instead of aleph, you've got beth. Instead of lamed, you've got mem, and it's got this very funny cipher. So if you take these words me'od and cipher them the same way as the name YHWH Elohim YHWH from the Shema is ciphered in this Mezuzah scroll. I'll show you, it's written on the back of the Mezuzah scroll with the name Shaddai. There's a Shaddai written on, and there's this curious ciphered up name that nobody really knows what it means. If you do that to this word me'od, so the mem becomes if you go backwards, like if you take that name that's in there and go backwards, you'll get YHWH Elohim YHWH. So if you take these letters and go backwards, the gimel, the dalet becomes a gimel.
Okay.
The aleph becomes a tav, because you go from the first to the last. Aleph becomes the tav, and then the mem goes back to a lamed. You've got the word galuth. Galuth is exile. Do you understand? So this word exile and me'od are linked through that same cipher where the name on the Mezuzah is linked to, who do they say is Shaddai? Because they say that the guardian of the doors of Israel is Shaddai. Shomer Dalathot Yisrael, Shaddai, right? They call Metatron Shaddai, the angel over us in exile. Angel who guards us on the road, rather than the Messiah. We've got to get ourselves from that state of exile, Galuth. We've got to reveal our me'od, our greatness, our muchness, our exceedingness. We can't be in a state of Galuth. This is what happens when we're under Pharaoh. This is what we're happening when we're in the Roman Galuth. Now, you know the boiling excrement? It's got the exact same gematria as Galuth. Do you know what it really is telling us?
Exile.
He is in the deepest, darkest exile with us. And we've got to transform that darkness, that boiling excrement, into me'od. Because you see, he's the last Adam. That word is Adam. We've got to raise ourselves up. We've got to raise the Messiah up from all these places where he has been diminished and exiled. And that is the lowest place where he's been exiled, in the minds of the Jewish people. The lies that would tell you that our Father, YHWH YHWH, has put his Son, the Messiah of YHWH, the very knowledge that YHWH wants to reveal in the world of the absolute oneness and sovereignty of his name, in the minds of a Jewish person. Where is it? In boiling excrement, in all the lies, in all the arrogance that they've been taught. He's held prison in their mind, nobody else. Like I said to Jewish people, I said, the only concept of Yeshua is in Judaism. It's nowhere else. It's your mythology, nobody else's. You've made that one up. This concept of boiling excrement, that's where you've got him. The world ain't got him there. That's your exile, you've got to get him out of it. So we've got to take the darkest aspect of Galut and transform it into our me'od. Do you know why? Because it says man is tov me'od, very good. All of creation is good, right? He created the sun and the moon, it's good. He created all the animals, it's good. He created the heavens and the earth, it's good. And he created man, he was very good. Where do we get the very from? We don't. We get Galut. We've got to turn our Galut into our very, so that we're not just good, we're very good. Because you see, we took all these lies, all this darkness, all the Erev Rav, Edomite, Yishmaelite, lies, all the clipper, and we revealed the truth that was hidden in all of it. That's where we get our very from. He gives us the darkness, he gives us the exile, he says, this is your work. You've got to transform this into your own very, so that you are very good. We are co-creators of ourselves.
It reminds me, and I don't really know how to really relate to it yet, but it's been on my heart with the word shalom.
Yeah.
And I think about, peace I leave you.
Yeah.
And I think about the M at the
Yeah.
end. It's the final M, the final mem.
Yeah.
At the end of shalom.
Yeah.
And it's the final water,
Yes.
And it just, it's tying into me with the spear in the side and the water pouring out.
Yeah.
It's almost like this shalom. I'm leaving you, this final water. Don't know exactly how it's tying into really what's being revealed, but it is being revealed. Something like that. The final mem, of shalom.
Absolutely. Our shalom don't get given to us either. Do you know what gets given to us? Esau, Esav. Esau has got exactly the same gematria as Shalom, 376. So it's the same what I've just told you. You get Galut, you've got to transform it into Me'od. You get Esau, you've got to transform it into Shalom. That's the only vessel that we have that Yahweh can fill with a revelation of that he wills to reveal to us, which is his oneness. So we got to do work, because he don't just want to give it to us like a spoilt brat. He knows how we were made. He knew how good he made us. He knows that within us we have got the power to do that. And he has faith that we will. So you see our shalom. And not only that, that mem is also related to the four, somehow, this is how the Jewish people represent it, the four mitzvah of Purim. That's about, it's about God hidden, really, isn't it? There's no mention of the word Yahweh in the entire book of Esther, yet it's obvious his divine providence over the entire situation, seeing beyond the veil, where his name don't even appear, but knowing at that point there's a revelation even of Mashiach in there, the mem of Mashiach and the mem of the womb that births Mashiach, the mem of the Shalom. It's all connected. It's really quite incredible.
It's beautiful, Stephanie.
Yeah, we got to start to understand we have got a work to do, and the fact that we have to be confronting darkness shouldn't be something that we think we take personally. It's so difficult not to do. We sort of take it personally, but it's our work that he's given us to do. It's also our work that he's given us to do, to transform the deepest, darkest aspects of exile into light. Now, you yourself have been confronted so many times, because I've heard you, whilst you've been here, how many times have you talked about this boiling excrement, poop water? Why? Because our Father's got a work for you to do. This is the darkest aspect of Galut. Think about it. How are you going to transform that into Me'od? How are you going to transform us from being good to very good? co-creators with our Father. It's wonderful, really, when you think. Carry on anyway. I'm just going to try and look something up in the meantime, darling, because I want to show how. I know that I know Galut is 433, and I know it's related to boiling excrement. This Galut is where the Messiah of YHWH has been hidden in the darkest place. This is the hardest spark of the Messiah to reveal, to get rid of, to transform that into light. The darker the spark, the more holy the light that will be revealed from it. Okay.
Chapter 2.
Anyway, darling.
Chapter 2. And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bare a son, and when she saw him, that he was a tov child, goodly, she hid him 3 months. And when she could not longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime, and with pitch, and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flags of the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off, to wit what would be done to him. I was told once that stood there was the first mention of real faith, that Miriam stood, stand fast.
Yeah.
To stand is in emunah, to see what would happen to the child. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash at the river, and her maidens walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened, she saw the child. And behold, the babe wept, and she had compassion on him, and said, This of the Hebrew children. And said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, Shall I go and call thee a nurse of the Hebrew woman, that she may nurse the child for thee? And the Pharaoh's daughter said, Go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, Take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. This is quite a miracle, isn't it, really? She's getting paid to nurse her own child. Hey? Yeah? She's getting paid to nurse her own child. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses, and she said, Because I drew him out of the water. And it came to pass in those days, when Moshe was grown, that he went out to the brethren, and looked on their burdens, and he spied the Egyptians smiting a Hebrew, one of his brethren. And he looked his way and that way, and when he saw there was no man, he slew the Egyptian, and hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did wrong, Wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? And he said, Who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me as thou killest the Egyptian? And Moshe feared and said, Surely this thing is known. And when Pharaoh
Can I just say something there? Okay. That word again, who appointed you, who set you as a man, for a man, le'ish, sar, were shofet, aleinu, over us. That is again the word prince, and there's a connotation even about that there's go back to those princes and rulers. But he also, this is a very mystical section of verse 12 is anyway. It says he turned ko wa ko, this way and that way. It's exactly the same letters. He turned ko wa ko. There's something in that that's mystical, and that the sages say it's to do with mystical names, if you like. It's possibly connected to the 72 names that's revealed in Exodus, the 72 names of God that's revealed in Exodus. And I once was told that, and I've actually seen evidence of this working. I ain't got my Psalms book with me at the moment, but in Psalm 150 it says, "Let everything that has breath praise the Lord, praise Yah. Kol haneshama tehalel Yah. Kol haneshama tehalel Yah." And I'm pretty sure, because he says he looked this way and this way, Kol haneshama, let all haneshama, the souls, tahalel, praise, like from Hallel, tahalel, praise Yah. The initial letters of that are one of the 72 names. So they associate Moshe at this point killed the Egyptian with this particular holy name taken from Tehillim. Love, will you just bring Tehillim 150, the last verse, up? And do you know how to get it in Hebrew?
Oh, yeah, I can do, yeah.
I can get it on mine anyway, if not. But it's Kol Neshama Tel Halal Yah. Now, I'm just trying to picture the letters. It would be Kof, He, Tav.
There you go, there, love.
Is it in Hebrew?
Bottom corner, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it is Kol Haneshama Tahalel. That's one of the 3-letter names of God that's part of the 72 names of God. The 72 3-letter words, 3-letter names of God. It's taken from Exodus when the angel of the Lord goes behind them. There's 72 letters in 3 of the verses in succession, and from that they are able to derive 72 3-letter names of God. And it's this particular part of Psalms that the sages say killed the Egyptian. He said Kol Haneshama Tahalel Yah. The initial letters Kol Haneshama Tahalel, Kaf, He, Tav. That's one of the 72 names. So how do we really kill our greatest enemy? By declaring the truth. Let every soul praise Yah. We have got to see hidden, even in these people that are wicked, the spark of the divine, the potential for this person to praise Yah. You know what I mean? Let every soul praise Yah. And so, I mean, you can kill people in a bad way. I mean, literally you can kill people, but you can also kill your enemies by seeing the holiness trapped in them. Do you know? And connecting to that holiness that's trapped in them and transferring them from an enemy to somebody who praises Yah. They're no longer an enemy then. You've transformed somebody that's going to do wickedness against you into somebody that's going to praise Yah on account of you. So can you see how you can, you know, like when Yeshua says, love even your enemies. There's a power in that that's connected to this ko, wako. He looked this way and that way, and he would say he really pronounced one of the names of God. That's where all the power of life and death is, in the name of Yahweh, and all the names that connected with him. But we could always interpret it in a good way. He didn't we're not out to literally kill human beings with like Kabbalistic magic, if you like. Mm-hmm. We can transform somebody from being somebody who's forgotten who they are to somebody that's had that potential reawakened in them. Remember, you too can praise Yah. You can be a vessel, a neshama that's praising Yah.
When you said life and death is in, the name of Yahuwah. So I'm just thinking, so life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
So now we can relate.
Yeah, very good.
The tongue is really what is whole. It's interesting, even with the Hebrew language, how with the tongue some is very like la, and some is ch, and some,
Yeah.
you know, and the direction we like are flinging our tongue, you know, to
Yeah.
speak these letters. I don't know. It's just
There's a very ancient Kabbalistic book that talks about that. Each letter is associated with a part of the mouth.
huh.
So some are the lips, some are the tongue, some are the palate, some are the throat. Do you know what I mean? The guttural, they come from deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, some are like ba, pa, ba, ba, ba. You know, some are the teeth, the shin, the shin. So there's like 5 aspects of the mouth that produce the letters.
I'm remembering now. It's all this remembering.
Yeah.
I did have some revelation about circumcision with the word.
Yeah.
But it was with the word, and it almost like what I saw was it was like the letters going around and round like a rototiller or like
Yeah.
a blade or like a crown of thorns. It was like this barbed
Yeah.
wire type of cultivating the ground. Like it was sharp, you know what I mean? And it just basically, it was, what it was doing is that it was plowing the field, and it was like the word was actually circumcising. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So, like,
incredible, yeah.
Yeah. And the word actually then was circumcising the field, circumcising the land. What we speak is actually plowing and then allowing for the seed to then be planted. But I do remember that now, like kind of seeing these letters like fly out of my mouth, and they were like swirling and rototilling and plowing, you know?
Yeah, there's a really powerful truth in what you've said, because even in Revelations it says, what is the weapon of Messiah?
The sword
The sword. Where is the sword?
in the mouth.
The sword of his mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and going back to circumcision, this is to circumcise everything.
It had to do with circumcision, I remember.
It's not to kill, it's to circumcise. Our Father he's wanting circumcision, not death. He's wanting circumcision, not castration.
Right.
He wants us to circumcise even the very powerful forces, life forces within us that could be very, very destructive. You know, like sexual urges can be so destructive in this world. Yet circumcised, it can just be the Holy of Holies. Do you understand? So it's so powerful to not castrate the gift of our flesh, but circumcise it.
And, you know, it's funny that we both have mentioned Tasmanian devil. Like,
Yeah.
some people come into our lives and it's almost like they come in like this Tasmanian devil and they're like, everything gets knocked over. It's almost like that same thing of circumcision. So, like, say that we're circumcising not as like a Tasmanian devil approach. We're circumcising, same kind of concept, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're, you know...
Okay, so Isaiah 49:2 says, this is the fulfillment of prophecy. Lovey, would you be able to read it in full? Because I've only got a part of it. 49:2. Sorry, darling. But in Revelations it's mentioned as well. And in Ephesians. Twice this is mentioned in Revelation. The sword of the mouth. You know, that should be our armour. It says King David, Messiah, son of David, will not fire a single bullet, but it's the power of his mouth to speak the truth.
And he hath made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand hath he hid me, and made me a polished shaft. In his quiver have he hid me.
And then it says, could you do Revelation?
Can I just bring up something?
Yes,
I just
darling,
want to bring
sorry.
up two opposites here. Just previously we were talking about a Kabbalah magic, all right? And now we're talking the Word of God is his sword in our mouth, okay? Now, if I'm a Christian with no understanding of the Hebrew letters, I have no understanding of the Torah as the foundation of my faith because I've told it was done away with. So this situation of knowing it's his word in my mouth is a sword, but having no knowledge how the Hebrew, how the foundation of Torah is laid, yeah, we are ignorant, so ignorant as the magic of the secrets of Kabbalah. So in between these two, there's a road which is light to both of us. You know, we can't be ignorant knowing his word is the sword in our mouth, but have no foundation in Torah. Put his Torah behind us, our prayers become abomination. So we're just loose children. And then we've got these extra educated people that are trying to work it all out for themselves without the Ruach HaKodesh, without the Messiah, and you've got a mixed up magic. So you have to sort this out in your head to walk with Derek the path of the Mashiach.
So true.
Or do you want to choose all the knowledge with no spirit? Or do you want all the spirit with no knowledge? I don't want either of those.
They have to come together.
Well, you have to get through the middle of it without being scathed.
Yeah.
You know, with just the truth on your mind. That you can't help both sides. That you're merciful to both sides in your understanding. Yeah? That you become the Derek, you become the way. You become the Dalet, the door. For their understanding, in your mercy, that you know Yahuwah so well, so confidently. That makes sense.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so I just wanted to point out, you know, like when we talked about this Galut coming from the boiling excrement.
Praise.
This is wonderful, lover. I just wanted to put it down so people know that I'm not making up, because I've got some quite complicated gematria, but I just apply the ciphers that I've learned from the Jewish people. Boiling excrement, if you take the ordinal of that and the square ordinal and add them together, they come to 6 times 327. And 327 is the exact gematria, regular and ordinal, of that mystical name that was ciphered. So because I saw that it had the same gematria as the mystical name that was ciphered up, the regular and ordinal of the mystical name that's in every single Mezuzah, I ciphered the word boiling excrement up in the same way. You know, so you're moving it, just wait a minute, I'll have to put it on again now. So you're ciphering it up, you're moving each letter one, how did I do it? Yeah, the tzadi becomes the kof, the vav becomes the zayin, exactly as the name is ciphered up in the Mezuzah. And when you cipher that name up, boiling excrement, it becomes kof zayin bet vav, that's the first one, boiling, and then excrement, shin zayin aleph tet aleph, and that has got the gematria of Galut. So to reveal it for what it really is, to transform the Galut of the boiling excrement into the me'od of the Tov me'od, the final Adam, you know, our greatness that we actually are in the Messiah of YHWH, we've got to transform that darkness, that really stinky, terrible poop water, like what you say. We've got to transform that into the highest revelation of light.
Did Paul say that when he used to work trucking?
Just speak up a little bit.
Oh, did he say when he used to, when you were working your trucking, and you were doing it, did you say it was like a septic type thing or something?
Yeah, moving poop. Yeah.
I mean, it's
yeah. But you see, we haven't got to run from these things. Our Father don't want us to be afraid of nothing.
Right.
He wants us to take the darkest darkness in this world and transform it into the highest light.
Yes.
So his opportunity came. We can't just succumb to the force of the veil. We've got to see, okay, so we've got some clipper here. What's hidden in it?
Yeah.
Where's our me'od from this Galut? Where's our greatness going to come out of this Galut? When are we going to be co-creators with our Father?
You're more than a conqueror in Mashiach.
Yeah. So we've got to take the darkest darkness and transfer it into the lightest of light.
You're somebody, Kim.
Yeah. Don't let nothing tell you otherwise.
You're somebody.
And not only this, going back to that sword.
You are set. He has set you apart, so you set yourself apart. Like I will remove all your transgressions from you. Remove your transgressions from yourself. You're co-worker with Yahuwah.
Yeah. Circumcise your heart. I will circumcise your heart. There's a dual aspect to circumcision.
You aren't on your own. You're not.
Yeah.
He is help.
There's
He's my
something
helper.
we have to do, but then there's something God does.
He is my helper.
In the Torah, he says, I will circumcise your heart. But then again, he says to us, circumcise your heart. So we're co-creators. We're co-creators.
Yeah.
Abba is wanting to help us.
As the co-creator is, Yeshua, so am I in this. Now, can I possibly believe it? Can I possibly be it?
Yeah, sorry, love.
Can you be it?
Oh yeah.
We are it.
We are.
We're in denial if we reject who we actually are and
so
the work that
why
we've
have we
got
been
to
such
do.
a mess? Until this point
We've
in
all
time?
been there.
Yeah, I'm talking. Why
It's
have
the
we
battle.
been such a mess? This is the time. This is the day.
Yeah.
This is the day of our wholeness, our salvation, our sozo. This is the day.
This is the day of our redemption. Going back to that sword of the mouth, this is confirmed 3 times, really, or connected 3 times in the New Testament. In Revelations 2:16 it says, repent or I will come to you and fight against them with the sword of my mouth. Okay? And then it says, describe the victorious Mashiach. It says 19. Can you get up Revelations 19:15, love?
Yeah.
So Yeshua, the Messiah of YHWH, is fulfilling the prophecy in Isaiah. And where is the Messiah now, Kim?
15.
He's in us. We are anointed with the Messiah of Yahweh. Yeah, carry on then, love. So we've got to
15,
use
verse
this.
15.
Yeah.
And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and of the wrath of the Almighty Elohim, or El Shaddai.
Yeah, because he's
Yahushua, this is interesting.
his sword of his mouth circumcises because it's the truth.
Yeah.
The truth, it pierces all this darkness. The truth we know shall set us free. He is the truth. We've got to reveal that truth.
Amen. Praise you.
When we were reading chapter 2, and it said, and there was a man of the house of Levi, and took a wife, a daughter of Levi, and the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him, that he was a goodly child, so he wasn't just good, he was goodly, she hid him 3 months. And so there it started just reminding me of, Yeshua in the tomb, which the tomb, the womb, the concealment. So here it just that just automatically stood out to me, very similar to hid him for 3 days. So same story. He's hidden in the grave for 3 days. And then it says, and then when she could no longer hide him, she took him an ark of bulrushes and dubbed it with slime, with pitch, and put the child therein. So it's almost like that to me seems of almost like Joseph a bit, right? Or it seems like the story of the crown, over in Edinburgh, where they took it and they hid it and they covered it with pitch and slime and everything, kind of throwing it down to be hidden, hidden in this travel down the water,
Absolutely.
It just seems to be the same story of how it works, just always coming out in just different scenarios. I don't know.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That word Shalosha Yerachim is one of the only places, is the actual only place, You know, I've talked about these calendar wars, calendar crusaders,
Right,
coming up with all
right.
these solar calendars now and lunar Shabbat calendars and everything that can concoct that is against the actual Ma'odim, the festivals of our Father in heaven and the right times of our Father. Okay, so in Torah it says Shalosha Yerachim, 3 moons. That word is Yerachim, moon. Yerach is moon. Okay, and if they've got absolutely no wriggle room whatsoever on this, because they can say, you know, it's not a solar month, it's a lunar month. It was Shalosh Yerachim. And they've no wriggle room because this verse is actually repeated in the New Testament. So we've got a double witness. It's not only in there, it's in the New Testament. And it's like tres menos. I'm saying this from memory. Okay, tres menos is the Greek. Menos is moon, 3 moons. So even the New Testament, it's Acts 7:20, confirms this in the Greek. In the Latin, guess what it is? It confirms that it's moons. It's linked to the Latin word for moon. 3 moons, 3 months. Months is linked to moon. Month, moon. Okay?
Yes.
So, and we've also got it in the Aramaic, Peshata. It's again Shlosh Yerachim. Yerachin, the Aramaic is chin rather than chim. So it's in the Aramaic Peshata. So if you ever come across, because you will come across it, Kim, calendar crusaders that want to tell you, oh no, we were lied to by the Jews. The Jews keep a Babylonian calendar. The Jews are not on the right calendar at this time because they do keep a calculated calendar and we should go with a sighted moon. Yeshua taught us this as well, because he told us to do what those that sit in the seat of Moses say, but not as they do. And what they say is that it was a sighted moon. We've got this through the Mishnah. We know what those who sat in the seat of Moses said. It's written down in the Mishnah. But now you've got this, what's called the Hillel calendar, which has changed it onto a pre-calculated calendar. However, we have got a double witness just from them words, because it says, as you saw in for Shalosha Yerachim, that is the word Yerech, which is month. And we've got in Acts 7, in the time Moses was born and was exceedingly fair, goodly, and nourished up in his father's house, tre menos, 3 moons, which is in the Greek 3 months. Why? Because month is lunar, not solar. We've got a big witness to this even in the languages of the world. So I'm just telling you, and hopefully for anybody listening to this as well, because you see these calendar crusaders are absolutely full strength, and they undermine true Torah, and they undermine the unity between believers in Yeshua and the Jewish people. Okay, because they're coming with the calendars, it creates a lot of separation. It's just something that us on our Torah walk have come across. If you haven't come across it yet, that's good, but you might come across it on this Torah walk, you know, like with believers in Yeshua that are returning to Torah.
I have come across, not as strong as like maybe some you have come across, but it is out there, you know, and people start, you know, debating, arguing, fighting.
It's horrible, it's hate, brotherly hate, and it's terrible, but you see, we have got to have the truth. Going back to the sword of truth, all these things we've got to have the truth. And we've got to have a good, we've got to be able to come in the full volume of the book. You see, so you've got to be able to speak the words sometimes to be able to bring these arguments to nothing.
Chapter 2, verse 15. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moshe. But Moshe fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew, and filled the troughs to water their father's flocks. Then and the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moshe stood up and helped them water their flock. And when they came to Ruel, their father, he said, "How is it that you've come so soon today?" And they said, "An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, And where is he? Why, ye have left the man, call him, that he may eat bread. And Moshe was content to dwell in the land, and he gave Moshe Zipporah, his daughter, and she bare a son.
Can I just say something really important? Going back to verse 17, it says, And came the shepherds and chased them away. These are your evil shepherds. These are like representing evil shepherds. Okay, you need redemption from evil shepherds. There's lots of teachers out there. There's lots of rabbis. There's lots of priests. They're not messianic. They are Metatronic. They're under a dominion that is a slave master, not the king. They're not the true Messiah. We need to chase them away from the well, because the well is the place where marriage occurs, the meeting of marriage occurs. And there's also a prophecy regarding Moshe. He is the eye above, and it's connected to the word ale ayin and things like that, which is connected to the word well. There's all kinds of mystery involved in that. But the word that was used, it says, it came the shepherds and chased them away, chased the women away from the well. Moses got up and saved them. It says, Wayoshi on Yeshua. He was a salvation to them, and he watered their flock. You see? We've got to have this salvation at the well that goes on from the evil shepherds.
Yeshua.
So we can all be watered with Maim Chayim, living waters, the source of life.
Amen.
It seems to me too there's parallel there between the seven wise virgins?
Yeah.
And the oil.
5.
Was it 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just seems like there's some correlation there where he had 7 daughters and they came and drew water and filled the water to water their father's flock. So it's almost the same thing about having oil in your lamp, water in your bucket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? Shavar is linked to well in some way, because you've got Be'er Shavar. Be'er Shavar is the 7 wells. There's 2 words for well. There's Ayin and Shavar. Sorry, Ayin and Be'er. So even like your name, Ali Shavar. Do you understand? My God is like it's a vow, but it also means 7. Shavar. He's there, look, 7.
7.
And it's
Beersheba, 7.
Shavar Banot, 7 daughters.
And it's what we can draw out. So with the Torah being the water and being the living water, the Torah itself can be the well that we draw out the water.
Yeah, and we need these true redeemers. We need the true Mashiach of your day where we're to draw the water to feed our flocks and save us.
We need true
It's got
saviours.
to be a salvation.
People need true saviours.
Can you say that you have been saved?
Oh, yes.
I can say, I have been saved. I have been saved. I am a saved person from the dominion of Satan, from the dominion of the evil shepherds. From every principality and ruler in this world, it has no dominion over me. I am a saved person because I'm attached to the salvation of Yahweh, and I drink that water. I was thirsty, I needed that water, and now I've drank it. I know I'm a saved person. You love it? Are you a saved person? Are you saved?
I am saved. Yeah.
So you got to ask people this. Are you saved? Are you saved? Do you know what salvation is? And in Isaiah it says, we shall draw forth water from the springs of salvation. Yeshua. We've drawn forth this water. Now this water is within us. We are drawing forth that living water of salvation that dwells within. You can ask this to people. Are you saved? saved from every principality and dominion of this rule that could depress you, it could humiliate you, it could make you feel hungry and thirsty and filled full of lack. Is your inner well flowing over with living waters or not? Can you say you can draw forth water from the springs of salvation from within? You got to ask people, is want to make them jealous. Because our Father wants them to be in a position of being saved. He wants them to say with absolute certainty, I am saved. I am saved. I am dwelling in the salvation of Yahweh through the Mashiach of Yahweh, who came in his name, the full power and authority of his name, to save me. You know? Anyway, carry on, darling.
And Moshe was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moshe Zipporah his daughter, and she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershon. For he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. And it came to pass in the process of time that the king of Mitzrayim died, and the children of Israel sighed by the reason of the bondage, and they cried, and their cry came up unto Elohim by reason of the bondage. Mm-hmm. And Yahuwah or Elohim heard their groanings, and Elohim remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Yaakov. And Yahuwah looked upon the children of Yisrael, and Yahuwah had respect unto. Chapter 3.
Beautiful that the winter he heard their cry. The king died, though. The melech that was over them died. They had an opportunity. You see, once these lose their power over you, the king of Pharaoh died. This is a very, very powerful demonic force. It's in this world at this time. Once that was let go, they had an opportunity to cry out and be heard. See what can block our prayers? Principalities.
Yeah.
This is what we need to be saved from. We don't need to be under that rule where our prayers aren't even heard. We've got to wait for it to die before God can hear our prayers. Hear that we are the children of Abraham, Yitzhak and Yaakov. Do you understand? And not only that, but him dying caused them to remember who they were. To cause them to cry out, to remember, just wait a minute, who are we? We're children of Abraham, we're children of Yitzhak, we're children of Yaakov. This ain't right.
I don't even know if they knew that.
Well, it says here, and alright, okay, so he heard their cries. They was just under the burden, but God remembered his covenant.
Yeah. Elohim remembered his covenant.
Yeah, but he heard their cries.
So is this re-remembering even right there?
Yeah.
He is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're not. But he heard their cry.
Yeah, God remember who we are. Remember who we are always. Zakor. Zakor is the last redemption. This redemption that we're reading about now is called Pekude. God visited them, Pekote. He visited them. Our last redemption is when we remember. It's called Zakira, remembrance. When we remember who we are, and God remembers who we are. It's a difference. We've got to be remembered, and we've got to remember.
When Christians get troubled because they're not overcoming their asatan or their bondage or their oppression, they have no idea of Torah, but they do have the Ruach HaKodesh.
Yeah.
They don't know the Torah, but they can pray in the Spirit, like the gift of tongues. So in some basic start, I believe that when a Christian, even though he received Mashiach, received Yahushua, and been filled with the Spirit, may have seen miracles, yet he falls into a down place not knowing Torah. So he comes under the affliction of the bondage of a hard taskmaster. Yeah, destroying your life. So when you pray in tongues, you can get relief, but you don't actually know the answer, even though your cry is relieve yourself to Yahuwah, and you know he knows you. You know he's heard you. Yeah. But you can't really answer it because you've not been based in Torah. So the fundamental thing for people that have known Mashiach, without the Torah is to go and learn Torah, that they can see how it works. It's our schoolmaster. Paul says the Torah is our schoolmaster. So this is how he schools us through our Father's ways, by reading the Torah. If we want to know how the Father works, we've got to study the Torah. Yeah, that's simple, really. Now, if you've got somebody who knows Hebrew, it's quite an advantage too.
Yeah.
Yeah, raise it up.
We need to learn the Hebrew because we're Hebrews.
And Yahuwah
Hebrews.
looked upon Yisrael, and Yahuwah had respect unto them. Now, if you've got, when I think about my children, and they see my children, Yahuwah knows they're mine. And I believe in the same way as the covenant I walk in as Abraham, Isaac and Jacob walked in, then Yahuwah will have respect to my children. Yeah? He cares for my children also. And these are not only biological children.
Your children too. All your children that you are going to mother. Okay, so you speak then, Kim, about that. That's beautiful what you've said.
So, number 24, and God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. And so this is something that we have talked about within the last few days, and where I have, said, just with being around both of you, showing me so much kindness, just love and kindness, it brought me to a state of remembering who I am. So there's been a lot of talk about remembering our worth, our value, that we are cherished, that we are loved, and we are deserving of that love,
Yes, absolutely.
And so when we talk about here that it's not us remembering from this point of view, it's saying that God remembered, he remembered. And what did he, he remembered his covenant, his promises, and it says that he looked upon them and he gave them respect, with the respect and the honor. And so when we take that, and now we go from the perspective of, the Messiah indwelling, living in us, and we read it from the place where we can remember who we are, and then remember who they are, being one. And even if we've been met with rebellion and hatred and being put down and mudslung at us and called these names, and that we're not a part of that, we remember that we are, and we show them respect. Because they're worthy of respect, of what they hold, And it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. If you think about how God even has to remember, it's like we remember. And, if you take it to the chapter before, where it talks about the hiding all the time, it's like Moses is going down the river, the hiding, covered in the slime, covered in the tar, being sent down this river, and, being delivered out of the water. So we get this deliverance point, and it says that when the woman saw the ark, among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And where this kind of ties into is it's tying into this remembrance, to this respect. In this story, when she saw this baby coming down the river, she saw the ark. She didn't, it reminds me of the inn. Always being not allowed into the inn. You can't come into the inn, but you can stay on the outside of the inn. And then the story that I heard with the Talmud, where Yeshua is with his teacher and he goes into the inn and then he makes a comment about
The woman's eyes.
being
Slitty eyes.
and he gets thrown out of the inn again. So there's always just like getting thrown out of the inn. Like, so, but this story with the baby, what I thought was so interesting is that she saw the ark, she saw the baby, and she welcomed the baby right into the palace.
Yeah.
You know? It wasn't like, oh, you're not, there's no room for you, there's no this. And so this is very, very, very profound.
Yeah. Do you know the actual Hebrew of, she sent her handmaids to collect it? In the Hebrew it can be translated, she stretched out her own arms and reached and pulled. It was a miraculous deliverance. You know, like she...
And it's drawing out of the water.
Miraculously, you know, can draw.
She drew Moses out of the water. So
did.
again, we're back to the woman at the well.
Yeah.
Putting out their arms and drawing out the water.
Rebecca,
you know,
as well. You know, even feeding the animals. It's awesome. Okay, so that were beautiful. Thank you so much. You know when it says he respected them? In Hebrew the word is Yodea. Just wait a minute, let me go back. YHWH Elohim, and God knew them. That means he got intimate with them again.
Right. He
got near them.
What's so amazing, so here they are, they're under Pharaoh, they're in a foreign land. What kind of things went down in this foreign land? What did they get involved with? Were they, which way were they acting? Did they fall, into sin? Did they fall from grace? All of these things.
They all did.
Yes. But
they were at the 49th level of impurity.
Yes.
There was the absolute, the memtet, by the way. When we're in a state of impurity, memtet's over us, 49. If we're in the levels of impurity, this is why the mikveh is so important, to get rid of all the impurity.
But this is so amazing because when God remembered them, even after everything they've done, what they've been through, the levels of impurity, it says he remembered them, he looked upon them, and he respected them.
Yes.
He didn't condemn them. He didn't lash them. No. He didn't say, you're not my children.
You're not worthy.
You're not worthy. He didn't condemn nothing.
He drew near to him intimately.
Yes, he drew intimate. So it's the story of the prodigal son here, you know. And it's the same thing with the inn. This is getting, so deep now. The story of the prodigal son. The son goes off. He's in the land. He's doing his own thing. He's so sinful. He comes back to his father and is like, please, will you take me back and just stick me outside of the palace, outside. Let me do the work of the shepherds or whatever, laborer. And what does his father say? He puts him in royal clothes and he says, no, you're my son.
Sacrifice
you're my
the lamb.
child, and he brings him into the palace to indwell there, even though he was off doing all of those things.
Spending his inheritance.
Wasting it, throwing it everywhere, the pearls before the swine, everything. But his father remembered him, and his father knew him when he was coming up that walkway, and he knew him, and he ran out to him to meet him, and he respected him still. And it's so beautiful, and it's the same story told over and over and over. So even when we go out there and we do things our own way, and we're in a foreign land, and we're under these different principalities, under bondage and things like that, when we come back, when that principality above us dies, like here, right?
Yeah.
When we turn back, we just turn back. And it's like what they say, once we repent, we're forgiven. It's like, it's as far as the left is to the right. Like, it's gone. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, you just the respect is there. You're welcomed inside.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's that's really the way from seeing it from Israel's position. That Yahuwah's remembered us because we cried.
Speak up, lovey.
But what view does the Father have of this situation? Yeah, he just remembered. I remembered the covenant I had with Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, and I heard Israel's cry. But what happened to Yaakov? He was called Yaakov, and he had experience, and Yahuwah said, "You're not going to be called Yaakov anymore. You're going to be called Yisrael." Now Yisrael expanded to 70 people, and 70 people went down to Egypt, and we know Joseph was already there. And they came into Egypt in a wonderful situation, the best of the land, the best grazing lands. This Pharaoh looked after them, and everything was happy. But Joseph died, and they rose up a Pharaoh that didn't know Joseph, and started to inflict Yisrael. But Yisrael forgot who they were because they were living in Egypt. And when they cried, Yahuwah remembered the 3 men that had a covenant with Yahuwah. But this is the start of Yahuwah making a covenant with a nation. Yisrael, my firstborn. It's the same name that Yaakov had. And now the nation, Yisrael, is walking in his father's covenant, but they don't know nothing about it.
No.
But Yahuwah's just going to display his greatness to get them out. His grace and his goodness, his miracles, his wonderful power to get them out. And then they're going to have 40 years in the wilderness, getting Egypt out of them so they can possess the promised land. So it's good to have this narrative in your mind as we're going through this individual experience of what's happening, as we see what our lives has been related to what they've been through. We thank Yah for the liberty. But it's also good to see the purpose of Yahuwah to redeem a whole nation. Not just the covenant with 3 men.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
And it's going into a global thing. For Yahuwah so loved his creation, the world, his cosmos. So that's not all people, it's just people. It's the field out there, it's the trees. For Yahuwah so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever, this is the new covenant, believeth in him. Yeah? And then Paul goes on, you are grafted into the commonwealth of Israel. We better find out what that means. The commonwealth of Yisrael.
Yeah.
And then we become co-heirs. It's amazing that you've got to keep the volume of the whole book as you're living in his presence.
Yeah. There's 2 interesting things from the commentary of Art Scroll, right? One, they acknowledge that they needed a covenant because of they're not accessing the salvation. It says his covenant, even when Israel are not deserving of God's intervention, he still is bound by the covenant with the patriarchs. Although the merit of the patriarchs may not be sufficient to earn God's salvation, a covenant by definition is inviolable. So they didn't experience salvation at that point.
No.
But they experienced God's faithfulness to his covenant with the patriarchs. Okay, so they haven't experienced salvation. We only experienced salvation with a new covenant. Okay, and then this is very interesting. It says, God concludes the time of salvation had arrived. So now we're getting into the place of salvation. The narrative now leaves Moses and returns to the plight of Israel in Egypt. Nearly 210 years had elapsed since Yaakov's descent to Egypt. 116 since the beginning of servitude, so 116 years. 116 before they started suffering, and 116 is the ordinal gematria of Mashiach ben Yosef. Messiah, son of Yosef, comes to 116. And then it says, and 86 since the beginning of the back-breaking oppression. So what is 86? 86 is the name Elohim. Elohim is the veil that veils you from Yahweh. What we were talking about earlier today about we've got to see beyond the veil. We've got to access the name of Yahweh beyond the veil. So
Elohim is the veil.
Elohim is the veil, yeah, but we've got through faith but that veil has come down with Yeshua, by the way.
So what I just think about, I always think about the side, the spear.
Yes.
Always go back to that, piercing the veil,
Yes.
piercing the skin.
Yeah.
So, the veil was torn in two. So it's like
Yes.
this firmament, and
Yeah.
it's being torn.
Yeah.
So it's like, you could say, okay, so...
There'll be a rainbow somewhere whilst you're talking now.
Yeah.
So,
There'll be a rainbow
so
somewhere.
Elohim,
Yeah.
you could even see, like Yeshua representing the Elohim,
Yeah.
the veil on the cross, the spear,
Yeah.
punctures,
Yeah.
the side, the veil is torn, it is
Yeah.
punctured, it is open, there's look at this opening of the
Yes.
sun coming
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, piercing through the veils and creating a rainbow.
Certainly.
It's awesome. You know what just came to me as we're saying it?
And the seven sisters, the rainbow.
Yes.
Darling,
Yeah.
you're not still going, are you?
Yeah, I wanted to go because I wanted to hear that. I just had a little bit of an inspiration, but I think it's gone from me now. But I just wanted to record what Kim had said about that because, it's just so important to see these things.
If you add that together, we get an hour and a half, love.
Okay. We don't need to add it together, but I just thought it was really important. Right, I'll take it off then. Okay, but we have got to dwell in the salvation of Yahweh. This is what I wanted to say. Yosef said, am I instead of Yahweh? Sorry, he says, am I instead of Elohim? But in the Hebrew it can be read as, I am ani takat. I am instead of Elohim. So you've got Messiah, son of Yosef, acting instead of instead of Elohim. If we are in the salvation of the Messiah of YHWH, there is no Elohim. He's instead of Elohim. These are the words that Yosef said to his brothers. Am I instead of God?
When Yeshua prayed
Can I
for us
just
to be a
finish,
card.
love?
Yeah, but this is a card.
This is a card. We've got to be a card with it. Because it goes back, there were 116 years in Egypt. You can either suffer in Egypt in the realm of Messiah, son of Yosef, or you're going to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortunes under the veil of Elohim. Joseph's actual words were, I am ani, I am tachat, I am instead of Elohim. But in the Torah it's interpreted as a question, am I instead of Elohim? Yeah, actually. Because you've either got the veil and the horrific oppression during exile, or you're dwelling within the realm of the Messiah during exile, as it says in Lamentations, is the breath in our nostrils, the anointed of Yahweh, the Mashiach of Yahweh. That's in Lamentations 4:20. Where do we live during exile? Where do we live during Galut? Are we under the 86 or are we under the 116 of Messiah, son of Yosef? Where do we want to live during exile? With a veil or access to the salvation of Yahweh?
Do you know the song? It just reminded me what you said. This is the air I breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. And I'm lost without you.
He's awesome, isn't he?
Yes.
Where do we want to live?
In his presence.
We might as well live. Like it says, this period of time was divided. You're either dwelling in the time of Mashiach ben Yosef during exile or under the veil. He pierces that veil for us. He gives us connection back to the name of YHWH. So guess what? Even the commentary of the Jews in Art Scroll noticed there's a difference in the time periods, and those differences are what we are living now, Anyway, with that we'll say shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.